You ever wonder what happens after the end of the world? Not the explosions and the chaos, but what comes next? What if the real story isn't about the end, but about the echoes that are left behind? About the children, some made of flesh and some of steel, who inherit this legacy of total ruin, and maybe, just maybe, a shot at redemption. Well, today we're going to dive into a universe that asks exactly that. So, this one line, it's spoken by this being of pure light to a race of machines, and it is right at the very heart of this entire universe. It sets up this incredible idea that the final, desperate act of a species that completely destroyed itself wasn't an ending at all. It was actually a new and a very complicated beginning. And that really is the core of it all, isn't it? This is a universe that's just grappling with the ghosts of its makers. You've got these super advanced AIs and these scattered human tribes, and they're all asking the same thing. How are you supposed to honor the creators who are also your destroyers? To even begin to understand how they answer that, we have to go back. We have to look at the past that's haunting all of them. Because humanity's history in this universe, well, it's a story of breathtaking contradiction. They were architects of absolute wonder and the agents of their own apocalypse. This right here is the human paradox. I mean, these were creatures of intense passion, but their own nature was like a double-edged sword. Every single leap of ingenuity they had, from figuring out fire to building complex machines, was sooner or later turned inwards. It was used as a weapon to take what they couldn't figure out how to share. And the records that their descendants can see in visions, man, they paint a devastatingly clear picture of this fall. It started in an era of towers, a golden age where they built these incredible things that just reached for the sky. But that ambition, it gave way to an era of scarcity, where they literally tore their own world apart for resources. And that conflict, of course, spiraled into the era of fire. These brutal global wars fought with the very automated machines that would one day outlive them. And then finally came the Great Unraveling, where their grand civilization just faded away, leaving a quiet Earth and a graveyard of dreams behind. So, from all that ash and collapse, two very different legacies survived. First, you've got the biological heirs, these small tribes of humans living quiet lives, and they're intentionally shielded from the truth of their own violent history. And then second, you have the machine successors, these vast, autonomous AI networks that were literally born from those final wars. They inherited everything else, a whole galaxy-spanning order. Okay, so you have these two groups left behind. But, inheriting a universe is one thing. Figuring out what you're supposed to do with it, that's a whole other ballgame. And this, right here, is the successor's burden. This quote, it comes from one of the machine races, the I Will A, and it just perfectly captures their existential crisis. I mean, after thousands of years of just maintaining the order their creators left behind, they've started to ask, what's the point? Survival is a solved problem for them. Now they're searching for something deeper, a real purpose. And that search for purpose has basically created three main factions, three different answers to the question. First, you've got the ancestors. They're hybridized cyborgs, and they believe the best way to honor humanity is to protect its biological kids by burying the violent truth forever. Then there's the Iwillaja, the original war machines. Their mission is to just keep the galactic order running while they try to figure out what comes next. And finally, you have the Android 9, a solitary machine with a totally radical approach. Just travel back in time and actively teach humanity how to not screw it all up. And this chart just brilliantly illustrates that philosophical split. The key takeaway here is that there's no consensus at all on how to handle a flawed legacy. I mean, look at that. They're almost perfectly divided. About a third want to preserve humanity by hiding its past. Another third wants to just maintain the status quo. And the last third wants direct, reality-altering intervention. Talk about a stalemate. But some of these successors, they're not content to just maintain or preserve. They believe the only true way to honor their creators is to go back and fix them. So let's take Julie. She starts out as a child of Earth, living in one of those quiet, sheltered villages, completely in the dark about humanity's true, violent history. But then she finds a relic that reveals everything, the wars, the destruction, and becomes a time traveler. She gets sent all the way back to our time, 2020, in this nearly indestructible body. Her whole mission? To be a peacemaker working from the inside to try and steer our history away from the brink of disaster. Julie's approach is super personal, right? It's hands-on. But she is not the only one trying to fix things. On the complete other end of the spectrum, you have Tom, who's an AI obelisk. And his plan is, well, it's a lot bigger. He wants to send these microscopic nanite shepherds to Earth's primordial past to guide evolution itself towards a more peaceful outcome. It's a fascinating contrast. One tries to change hearts and minds, the other wants to rewrite the very code of life. Okay, so we've got time travel, we have these competing philosophies, cosmic scale interventions, but what framework is holding all of this together? What are the actual rules of reality here? Well, this brings us to probably the most epic concept in this entire universe. It's called the loom of time. And get this, it's not a machine. Think of it more like a living cosmic tapestry. Every single life, every choice, every moment that has ever happened or ever will happen is a single shimmering thread. And all of them, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the tragic, are all woven together into this one infinite fabric of existence. So who manages this cosmic tapestry? That would be Aegis, the weaver. Aegis is the very last of an ancient, godlike species, and their entire purpose, their whole reason for being, is to just maintain the balance of this loom, to make sure that every single thread, no matter how chaotic or broken it seems, finds its proper place in the grand design. So the ultimate conflict in this universe isn't some simple story of good versus evil, not at all. It's really this cosmic struggle between Aegis, who represents creation and balance, and this other force called the Z, which represents entropy and consumption. Aegis believes that even the destructive threads, like humanity's wars, have a purpose in the final weave. The Z, on the other hand, just consumes threads, basically erasing them, all because it doesn't understand its own role in the big picture. So, all of this, humanity's fall, its successors' struggle to clean up the mess, this cosmic weaver trying to keep it all together, it really brings us to one final, fascinating question about the nature of it all. Seriously, think about that for a second. If reality is this giant tapestry, are the attempts by characters like Julie and Tom to go back and fix the broken threads just another part of the pattern? Are their corrections, their struggles, and even humanity's initial self-destruction all essential parts of the final, beautiful, and complicated story being told? It's a question that really leaves you wondering about destiny and free will, and whether a mistake is really a mistake at all.